Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host,
Brad Sloan.
All right, back in the house, baby. So a couple rounds are in the books in Newport, Bastad, and Gstaad. How do you pronounce these cities? Bastad?
Bastad, something like that. It's and then
Gstaad?
Gstaad, and then Newport, everybody knows how to pronounce.
Yeah. All right. So I guess let's get into it. So what are your main takeaways from the first couple days of these events?
Where do you want to start?
I guess let's start in Newport because it's been the shittiest.
So Candyman is back. I mean, he went out today, but he won 2 matches. Cost me a lot. Cost me money, but like,
yeah, a lot.
I don't know. It's kind of fun. The Candyman's a fun guy.
Yeah, he's rocking the Dan Evans socks, right?
I just think the Candyman's a fun guy in general. Like, I don't know. I like the idea of the Candyman. Like,
former Wimbledon finalist, right?
Yeah, I think he won this tournament in the past. Like, I mean, if he wasn't coming out of retirement, it would make sense that he's doing well here.
Yeah, I guess like even guys that don't play for a couple of years, like some of them are just better than Gabriel Diallo and who did he beat in the second round? Gilles Brouwer. Like sometimes it doesn't matter how long you're out. Like you're just better than those guys, you know? Like,
I agree.
And I think especially Diallo, like Brouwer, I don't regret as much because like he actually played decently against Zverev at Wimbledon and like had a first round win. And like, but just like Diallo is just so bad. And it's like Kevin Anderson could be retired for 5 years and probably still come out and beat him, you know?
I don't know. I mean, Diallo he's playing better, but he's just a young kid. He's got issues. His footwork's not great yet. Like, you know, it's like I don't know. I don't know. Like saying Diallo sucks is the right just like comment there, but I hear your point. Like he's definitely like flawed. There's a reason why he's not on the tour yet, right?
Like when he plays against a former Wimbledon finalist, right? And like a guy who's been in the top 10, just those experiences alone, no matter how long you are out of the game, they kind of like are good, you know, like it shows that you're a good player. And like when it's 2 straight sets like that, fitness doesn't really even play a factor.
Well, also Diallo couldn't hold like Diallo, that was surprising. I think Diallo got broken 5 times out of 9 service games. Like that was the surprise.
Yeah.
Not so much like in my mind, like, yeah, I mean it was a pretty embarrassing performance from Diallo, to be honest.
It was.
Like,
yeah. How about Alex Michelson, guy we have futures on for 40-1? He's still in the tournament.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's fun. Like, pretty. I mean, he played Cressy pretty even, and he ended up breaking, and then in the 2 kind of he broke twice. Cressy didn't break him. It was funny. I took him plus 2.5, and I think my comment on the pod when I took him plus 2.5 for the first round was like, "How is he going to break?"
Mm-hmm.
And that ended up kind of ringing true. Like, how is Cressy going to break? Meaning, because Cressy won, first set tie break, and I think they got to like 5-all without a break in the second, and it was like, and Cressy just couldn't break Michelson, which has been kind of it's a theme for Cressy in general. He's going to be like down in like the 150 range now. I think
he is.
I think it's a little unfair for him. I think he's better than that, to be honest. Like, as much as we trash on Cressy, like, I think it's probably going to be
that's where he belongs, to be honest. He's really not that good.
He's not anywhere. So my take is more that like he's obviously a spot guy, right? But like on a faster court, I think he still might be like borderline top 100. Like so the interesting part is like I was looking at it, like we talked about this in the preseason pod, and I brought this up a couple times already, but like his breakpoint conversion percentage last year was like 40% or like 38% or something, like, but which is insane because Cressy's like, he's just not good. His return game is not good. His tennis game is not good. Outside, like he's really not very good at tennis, and like 38% is like a ridiculous. I mean, given that he wins 30% of his like other return points, that's like ridiculously high for him.
Right
now, this year so far in 2023, his breakpoint conversion percentage is like in the mid-20s, which is unfair the other way. Like nobody should be in the mid-20s. Like even Isner can convert more than 20% of breakpoints. Like it's just like,
well, now, you know, he's lost 15 of his last 16 matches. Like it almost feels when you watch him that he just kind of finds ways to lose. Even when he's in a winning position, you just kind of feel like it's going to go the wrong way. Just like
I agree.
Lack of confidence.
I don't know. See, that's where I don't know how much of that is true, because like I mean I'm sure I think it's partially true, but I think he's also just getting like bad luck. Whereas he was getting extremely good luck before to get in the top 30. I think now he's just getting extremely bad luck. Like, and I think the thing with Cressy is like every match is going to come down to a few points. So like if he's losing matches, it's going to be like, oh man, he's playing poorly. And like if he's winning matches, it's going to be like, oh, he's playing amazing. And like the reality is it's always somewhere in between with him. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think he's like, I don't think he's good, and he was a fade for me coming into the year. But like,
yeah, that was a really good point. The fade before the year was awesome. Because I was higher on him coming into the year, right? Than you.
Yeah.
And you kind of talked me into fading him. But like, I just think his tactics are horrible. Like I can't stand the 2 first serves. I understand.
I mean, we've talked about this before. I think for him, it's more like he's so bad at everything else. Like, what else is he like? What is he like? He's better off double faulting 15 times and at least getting some extra aces and some extra points on his serve.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't like when he does it. Like he never changes his tactic. I understand
because he can't. Like this is we've talked about this before. Like this is the same thing as like 10 guys we've talked about. Where like it's you always say, oh, he doesn't change his tactic. Like half the guys on the tour can't. They have one game that they play well, and that's it.
But if it's a 15 love point or a 30 love point, then okay, go for 2 big first serves. If it's break point, take a little bit off of it and play.
But then he'll lose the point anyways. That's the point. Like he's not good enough to win tennis points.
Your chances are better if you take 10 to 15% off that first serve and kind of play a rally and try to come into net off a ground stroke.
For any other guy on the tour, except maybe him and maybe Isner, I would 100% agree with you. But like him and Isner are so bad at anything else. Like, I mean, you watch Cressy play at any point, like he can't win. Like, what are his chances of winning the points in a rally? Like 30%, probably less. He's that like he's so bad in rallies. Like, if the serve comes back, he's done. I think he almost has to play the way he plays.
How much do you equate his bad rallying due to lack of discipline versus just bad shot making?
I think it's mostly bad. I think it's mostly bad shot making. It's easy to call it bad discipline, but when you're not good enough at shot making to hit 3, like if you can't make 4 balls in a row in the court, then you can't. Then like discipline is irrelevant.
Yeah, so you don't think like getting a little bit more air on the shot and kind of like just keeping it deep down the center? Like I feel like every professional tennis player could do that if they choose.
I don't know if Cressy can. Like I legitimately like. I think he might be like him and Isner might be 2 guys who like can't. Or like if he did, it wouldn't help him because the guy
like
would just
even me, like at our level, you know, I tell
myself, but you're not hitting against a professional ball. I mean, like
I'm not. That's true, but when I'm playing badly, I just tell myself like hit deep down the center, a little bit more margin, height over the net, you know, rally tolerance, be disciplined. Like that's what I tell myself.
And for guys, and if your baseline game is competitive, if your ball quality is competitive with the player you're playing against, like that's the right thing to do. But like if your ball quality is not competitive,
yeah, that's a good point. That's true.
Well, you know what I mean? Like if the answer is really that he has to develop some sort of tennis game besides the serve, or like he's going to top out, or his game is going to be like, I don't think it'll be like this bad. Like, I think he's actually found a game that kind of works for him. But I think, and like, you know, obviously he can play tennis. Like he's not like, it's not like he's worse. Like he's like our level, but like, you know, but I think like, I think his true level is like borderline top 100. He's just not that good. Like he was kind of a flash in the pan for a year because like he just hit a really good run of luck, and now he's.
So if he goes down to the Challenger Tour, right, and starts playing these kind of, you know, these Challenger 125s, 100s, or is he still on your fade list? Because for me, I don't think it even makes a difference whether he's on the main tour or the challenger tour.
So it depends on the line, right? I mean, it always depends on the betting line.
Always.
But I would, as a general statement, I think we'll see what happens with the lines. But like, I think he's still one of the better players in the challenger tour on a fast court. Not on a clay, but like not on like a slow clay, but on a fast court. I think he's still one of the better challenger players. But I think he was like, I think he was like not good enough to be on the ATP tour, but his ranking was ATP tour level, and so he was playing ATP tour events, like, right? Like that's why, like,
if it's indoors, I get it. I'm probably not gonna fade him. If it's outdoors and there's any kind of wind or any kind of element, I'm 100% fading him.
That's the thing too, right? He's a spot guy because like indoors, or if there's no elements to deal with,
yeah,
it's fine because he's so dependent on that first serve. Like when there's elements involved, it's just a disaster because he can't like.
Yeah.
And he's a decent volleyer too. Like it has to be said, he's not a bad volleyer.
Yeah, he's a good volleyer. But the problem is getting up there is a problem for him because
how do you do it on return games if you can't like how does he do it on return games? That's the problem. Like Fili Lopez had that nice slice backhand.
Right.
Fili Lopez, like I mean, I'm trying to think of guys in like who were like net dependent guys, and like other net dependent guys have like some game to like get up there.
Right.
Cressy doesn't really have anything to like
besides the serve.
Yeah. And it's really just the first, like, the thing is, like, I actually don't know how good his like, if he were to hit a true second serve, I don't know how good it is.
I don't think it's that good, to be honest. I don't think he necessarily has one.
Right. So that's the problem, right? Like it's like I said, it goes back to what we debate all the time. Like it's like a chicken egg problem. Is it like you only do plan A because you only have plan A that you're confident in? Or is it because you only do plan A because it's literally the only plan you can execute? Like Medvedev's the perfect example.
How can you be confident in that play when you're double faulting half the time on important points?
It's better than the alternative. It's better than losing 70% of points. I mean, it's ridiculous, but like, yeah, but like, so like Medvedev's the Medvedev at Alcaraz is the perfect example of that, right? Where like Medvedev could try other strategies, but then like a lot of the guys on the tour are just very one dimensional.
I mean, I think that also shows how great Alcaraz is. The fact that Medvedev is not really that one-dimensional, yet he still dominates. Right? Because his game is just so superior to like what Medvedev does, right?
Well, the thing with Alcaraz is he's so multidimensional, right? And like that's the thing that made like these guys really good, right? And that's I think that's part of the problem with tennis fans in general too, like kind of taking a step back on is like we got really spoiled during this era of I think we talked about it in the previous pod, like I don't think like I mean we got really spoiled and then we had like for a long time we had like 5 to 10 like really good tennis players at a time on the tour, like really really good players. When you had the big three and then Wawrinka and Murray and like other guys would step in and be like in that 6 to 10 and be like really good players. And like we're kind of entering an era now of like who's going to step up besides Alcaraz.
The problem is that him and Djokovic are so far above the rest right now, right? That it's even if a guy steps up, it's stepping up minimally.
No, but that's fine, right? Like I mean, I don't mind the guy stepping up and making like consistent quarter. Like I don't need a guy to win a slam to show that he's stepping up, right? Like Rublev is a guy who's stepping up. Like to me, that's stepping up, and like that's enough. Like
to me that's not enough in the big tennis scheme, like in the big tennis landscape. It's not like in terms of betting, yes, because we can back him now, right, and feel comfortable. Whereas like in the giant tennis landscape in terms of who's winning slams, who's winning Masters 1000s and stuff, it's not enough. Like if we weren't betting these matches, it would kind of be like the tennis landscape wouldn't be that interesting because
I guess this is
talking about two guys.
I guess this is interesting because it's I hear your point because like now we're separating between like casuals and diehards, right? Because like Like I agree, casuals had no idea who those guys between 6 and 15 were that were really good players.
Mhm.
But I thought as a viewer, as more of a diehard, like we talked about before, like those fourth round matches were great. Like when you get like Ferrer and Nishikori in the fourth round of a slam, it'd be a fantastic match.
Yeah, I agree.
Or
I
when you,
still
or
love
even
fourth round, to be
what
honest. I still love fourth round.
I do too. I think the fourth rounders are great matches, but like I think they were even a level above when you had guys like that who are like really, really good players with like very few holes. Maybe not quite as good as the top guys, but like really, really, really good players. Or like the Chiliches, the Burdiches, the Song was like all those guys. And then like even you go a little later, 2010s, you had like all the like you had plenty of guys who were like really good players and were like multidimensional and fun to watch and interesting. And like they made like they made they made tennis more fun. I think we're seeing like not only is there a lack of top end, like top end, like with the exception of Djokovic and Alcaraz, there's a lack of top end, like guys who can compete for slams, Masters 1000s, etc. But I think there's also like a lack of an interesting second tier. Like if you look at the second tier now,
It's
like
the Runes, the Medvedevs, and the Tsitsipas's kind of tier.
yeah, like I think Rune is like I actually think Rune is a bad example because I think he's already 80% of the way there, and I think he'll get there. Like the stuff he needs to fix, like physicality issues and like tactics are like there are things that usually do get solved with age. So so like I think Rune's a bad guy to put in that category, but I'm talking more like like Tsitsipas is right. Like Tsitsipas right now has just like no defense. The Fritzes, you could even like you could even put Sinner in there unless he develops a little bit more variety. Like so I think that's probably more where I'm going.
Personally, I think it's almost less about those guys as it is about how great those top two guys are. Because like I think you can argue that what Djokovic and Alcaraz are producing is a higher level than we've ever seen on a tennis court. Right? Like it actually might be higher than the Nadal Federer from 08.
So hard to compare, man.
It's hard
so
to compare like, because like that matchup is so fun to watch stylistically, right?
It's also like it's just so hard. You're comparing different eras now, different technology, different like you know what I mean? Like
the problem
game just changes over time. Like
but the problem with like Djokovic and Alcaraz versus Federer and Nadal, like Federer and Nadal are more easily beatable. I mean, they're just as great, but they're a little bit more easily beatable because they have more holes in their game. Like they have weaknesses which you can attack. With Djokovic and Alcaraz, where the hell do you go? There's no holes.
Yeah, but like I mean, the thing is, like those are only two guys, right? So they're only playing like, and this is what I'm saying. You separate between the casuals and the diehards because like they're like the matches they're playing are all the matches that the casuals are watching. But like as diehards, we're watching a ton of matches.
But why would a casual even consider watching anything else? Because like those
again, that's why I'm saying we're separating, right? Like that's why we're separating between like what casual like where's like that's why we're separating between like how good the sport is for casuals and diehards, right? Like the reason why Federer and Nadal, I agree, like for casuals, it was great, like the Federer and Nadal rivalry because they were so different stylistically, so you could like see differences, and they were more beatable when they were playing other players because like that's who everybody was watching, right? With those two guys, and I agree, like as like for casuals, it's only gonna be like like max 5 guys are gonna know, and because of that, like it's now probably worse for casuals because but like because like the style matchup there isn't as good. But like I'm saying it's like a little different for diehards because like for diehards, like that second tier was still so fun. And like I think the second tier is so much less fun now than it was 5-10 years ago also.
Okay. So see, to me, it's like when are guys in that second tier gonna reach the first tier? And I don't see any period of time when that's gonna happen, right? And that's
but I guess did you? I mean, but I didn't see that with I didn't see that with the last second tier either.
No,
like I didn't see like when was Nishikori gonna gonna compete? Outside of one tournament, when was Nishikori gonna compete with Federer, Nadal, Murray on a
right. But
consistent
ultimately,
basis?
I think that this like Alcaraz is going to end up destroying this generation, just like the big three destroyed.
I don't think so, because I don't think one player can really destroy a generation.
Well,
Like,
Federer did.
not really though, right? Like,
He destroyed the Roddick Hewitt generation, the Roddick Hewitt Safin generation, pretty much single handedly.
I mean, I don't know, because Nadal started coming like 04, 05.
Well, 05 he won the French, but he wasn't really a factor anywhere else.
Yeah, I guess. I guess it's because Federer was so good. Like, if Alcaraz is going to win like 3 slams a year, then maybe. But like, that's a
He's
huge
not going to do
expectation
it
put
because
on him.
Djokovic is still there, right? But as
But
long
once Djokovic retires, right? Djokovic is gone in 3 years. Like,
Yeah.
once Djokovic retires, is Alcaraz going to win 3 slams a year? Otherwise, there's gonna be prizes out there for other people to get. Like,
I don't know. It remains to be seen. But like as a casual, like we're diehards, right? But as a casual fan, I would be quite discouraged in the tennis landscape.
fine.
That's probably not the best way to market our podcast, but I'm just being brutally honest here. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. Right, that's the same point I was making. Right, like it's a casual versus a like. But I actually think it's not a good tennis landscape for diehards either. And my point is like, I don't need to see like as a diehard, like the fact that Rublev's stepping up is awesome, and I would consider what he's doing stepping up as a diehard. I get your point. To a casual, they don't even care. They don't even realize who Rublev is yet. But like, that's kind of my point. Is like, I don't know. It's
Yeah, nothing is going to stop us from watching tennis. I don't know how the hell did we get from talking about Maxime Cressy to talking about this?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, let's get back on topic.
Yeah.
So I guess we started talking about Michelson, right? In a way,
we're talking Michelson. I think we were talking about that before the pod, in our little pre-pod, whatever you
we
call
talked
preamble.
about him and his win against Cressy, and that's how we got in the Cressy topic.
Yeah. So you and I both have futures on him.
Yeah,
it sucks, man, because like those like it's where he won 2 matches, and like I was bitching about this on the pod before, like we still can't hedge on him yet. Like we still need him to beat Mackey to be able to start hedging, and like I don't know, man. Like it's gonna be. I don't think he's like. We'll get to that, but like I don't think he's likely to beat Mackey, but I think he could. So I'm just sitting there hoping he finds a way to beat Mackey.
Yeah, but then he has to play Tommy Paul and then probably Manarino. So it's like it's
well, maybe Isner can beat Paul. Like he can just serve great and be like I'm not saying it's likely, but he's got like a 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4 shot, and like
yeah.
If that happens, then we're in great position, right? Because then we can start hedging.
Right.
I agree with you. If he plays Paul, it sucks because like, how much can you even hedge that? Like it's gonna be hard to even hedge that very much. So that just sucks.
How about Jordan Thompson? So Jordan Thompson, he won his first 2 rounds super easily, right? Barely losing games. And then today he played Manarino, and I thought that was a fantastic match. I don't know how much of it you saw.
I didn't see any of it. No, I mean, look, like those guys. I think you made a comment that those guys are top 15 on grass.
Was
that you who made the comment in the
yeah,
I think it was in the Discord. You made a comment that those guys are top 15 on grass.
Both of those guys. It's close. They're on that tier between, I think, 12 and 15. They're probably both in that group, but I think they're there.
That it's hard. Like I didn't really think about it too much before this pod. I just saw that you put the comment. I thought it was an interesting comment. Yeah, they're both pretty darn good. I don't know if they're top like fifth, like if it's 15, 20, 25, 30, but like they're both pretty darn good. Like I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that they're not top 15. I'm just saying like I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet.
They're not
like,
top 15, 20 tennis players, but they're top 15, 20 in terms of grass.
No, right? No, I'm talking the same thing. I'm talking about grass. Like I'm saying like I don't know if they're top 15, 20, 25, 30. And I'm not saying they're not. I just haven't thought about it enough yet. But like they're pretty darn good.
And I was surprised that Manarino was able to last physically after that second set, because that was his problem in Den Bosch when they played. Like it was a really tight first 2 sets, and then Manarino went away. And
I mean, probably a 6-love first set helps, right?
probably. Yeah, that's probably. But, you know, it was also hotter here, more humid.
Yeah,
You know,
true. True. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm surprised. I'm still looking to fade Manarino.
see,
I
I'm not.
mean, he's
I think he's the best grass court player in this draw remaining.
okay. Okay. I can see why you'd say that. I think it's close between him and Paul, but I can see why you'd say that. I don't think it's a ridiculous take. I think it's close between him and Tommy Paul.
Well, that's why I love this bet, the fourth quarter to win this title at plus 300, because I thought that these two guys were the best grass court players in this draw. And probably
I think it's close. I think it's close. I don't think it's a terrible take. I think it's close between them and Tommy Paul. Like, and at plus 300, I love it. I agree with you. I love it at plus 300 because I think I think I don't know if it's a pick. I think they're probably both underdogs versus Tommy Paul, but like I don't think they're massive underdogs. I think they're pretty big favorites in the semis against Humbert.
Yes.
Like I think Manarino should be a pretty big favorite against Humbert.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe something like in the 180 to 200 range. And like, I don't think he should be that much of a dog against Tommy Paul. The only concern is now that it's Manarino that came out instead of Thompson is again the physical part of playing.
Well,
he does get an off day, so that will be an advantage.
So that's fine. If he didn't have an off day, I would be worried. But the fact that he's off tomorrow and the top half guys play tomorrow, like,
yeah, again, just terrible scheduling.
Terrible. Especially for me, who's like heading up there to see a buddy. Like, you know, I was gonna stop by and watch a day of tennis there, and like, I'm not gonna spend $80 to watch 2 matches. Like,
is that what it costs?
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. It's not that cheap. It's like
for a 250. For a 250 that's not even like particularly well run. Like the US Open is like barely more expensive than that to get into. Like if you get an hour,
first week, yeah. It's like first week is like $80. Plus, you have to toll to get, you know, over the Newport Bridge. I mean, it's just like I'm not gonna do that. You know, like if it was like around, you know, four match slate, you know, full day of tennis, like I would do it. But
well, that's the thing, right? Like most of these 250s put together a great quarter slate because they just start at 11 a.m. and just run the quarters all day.
Right.
But I guess Newport's concerned that like you might not be able to fit them all in because if you get, you know, but like even though it's grass and it should go quicker, like I guess like they don't have lights, right? So I guess if you like had 4 3-setters, you'd be in trouble and you might have to stop, and then that would be kind of crappy. So like I think that's why they do it, but like it still is crappy.
How about
it's kind of a joke that there's I mean, you're right. Like you've made this point before, Manny. It's kind of a joke that we have tournaments in 2024, 2023 that don't have lights.
It's an absolute joke. It's terrible.
But I mean, it tells you what kind of like it tells you that tennis is a niche sport. Because any other like it's not like pro like do pro basketball teams are they not able to play sometimes because of like they don't have lights like they don't have lights on the courts or like the arena. I mean, like if teams have to push off like a major sport like football, basketball, baseball, it's like a disaster. With the exception of like rain, which happens in certain base, but even baseball stadiums now they're all built with the retractable roofs. Like it's almost like for any event now, for any like major sporting event, if you can't play your event, it seems like a disaster if you can't play your event at the time. And like tennis, half of these tournaments are like completely accepting of like we can't play because of rain.
I mean, for like an NFL game to postpone, it takes like a DeVar Hamlin kind of incident for
or it takes like a massive thunderstorm or like hurricane weather. Like it takes
something like that, right?
It takes like there's like maybe 2 a year where it happens in the NFL.
And for tennis,
it feels like every event. What?
The tournament is too cheap to install some floodlights. Like get out of here. It's ridiculous. It just pisses me off to no end. Yeah. Like, and then it's not fair for those players who have to come back the next day and potentially play 2 matches in a day. Or I mean, it's just so bad.
Well, we had a nice little Houston weekend challenge. We had the Houston weekend challenge this year. That was the best thing I've ever seen. Like rain all week. And they only played 1 round like for the first 5 days, and they played the entire tournament in 2 days.
I know. Yeah. How about John Isner? So he's won 2 matches in a row. He lost a set to Alex Bolt in the first round, and then he destroyed Mute, who just absolutely clowned away that match. I mean, we were both on the Mute side.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Like, what's wrong with Mute? Like, he can't hit a backhand, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's hard to ask me too much about quarantine Mute. Like,
he's such a clown. He's such a clown.
yeah,
But he's actually talented.
he is. He is. He's just like, but the thing is, like, is he really that talented? Like when we say he's talented, like, how talented is he? Like me, like, is he more talented than like?
He's more talented than Isner, that's for sure.
Is he more talented than like Bautista Agut? Like a young Bautista, like a prime Bautista Agut?
I would say so in terms of shot making and just racket talent, 100%.
I guess I get where you're going with it. I guess like I don't
Like,
know. I've asked this question to a guy like Kyrgios, right? Who can hit like amazing shots, but like also like consistency is a skill too, right? And by consistency, I don't mean just discipline. I mean like being able to hit spots on a consistent basis, right? Like that's
well, it's also the discipline of practicing that and willing to practice that and then implement it, right?
Yeah, it's all of it, right?
That doesn't necessarily, I don't think that factors into tennis talent per se. That's more.
I think it does. I think it does. Like I don't think there's too many guys out there that no matter how hard they practiced could hit spots the way Bautista Agut does.
I think it also with Bautista Agut, it just takes it took years and years and years of just pure repetition, whereas other guys don't practice to that level.
Yeah, I think the answer is somewhere in between. You know what I mean? I think there's like there's some level of like I agree. There's not like there's probably not as much talent as in it as there is in like a guy like Shapovalov, but like just he's like an obvious guy who lacks discipline and is a talent guy, but like it takes more talent probably than you think to be able to do that consistently.
I guarantee you that if Kyrgios practiced the way Bautista Agut practiced, he would be able to hit those spots.
All right. I mean, it's unfortunately it's a guarantee that like we can't actually cash out because like I would actually take the other side of that.
Really?
I think that's actually really hard to develop.
No, I think it's Kyrgios' unwillingness to practice that, which is not made him develop that skill. So, but okay. All right, so that's Newport.
I mean, Tommy Paul's still around, right? It's probably worth. I mean, he's only won one match, but we still have Tommy Paul in the tournament. He's probably the top.
Yeah. Yeah, what are the prices going in, like the futures prices?
Oh, I don't know. I know I saw Mickelson was at 14. Isner was at 12 going into the quarters.
Oh, they probably don't have future prices because we're halfway through the quarters, which is just...
Yeah, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Because we're in between days, so they might.
Oh, they do. Okay. So outright Paul is plus 220, Manarino is plus 250, Humbert plus 275, Isner plus 700, Mackey plus 700, Mickelson plus 1400. I still like
Mickelson plus 1400.
I still like Manarino here, to be honest.
I think 250 is about right. Because, like, I mean, Humbert, like, he should be Humbert, but that's not a given. And I think if he plays Paul in the final, I think that's a close match. Anybody else, he should, like, the problem is if he plays Paul in the final, it's a close match. I think if he plays, like, it's pretty close to a coin flip. If he plays Isner, that's just really annoying because any Isner has a chance to win any match just because he could like serve amazing and win that way, especially on grass, on a tournament like this.
Yeah, Isner actually plays well here historically. Like the Bet Rivers guys made this
servers
point.
do. This tournament plays really well for servers.
It does. Like Cressy, like Isner, like you notice how he plays better in the States, and he plays better in like tournaments he feels comfortable with.
But that's but I mean there's a lot of guys who play better on home soil, right? Like we forget like we always talk about this players on home soil when they're like a European. Like just because Americans are on home soil a third of the time doesn't mean it's not home soil. And like Isner has such a following now across America because he's been the face of American tennis for a decade now. Like when he When he's in the States, it's like any European player on home soil. They get a boost.
Yeah, but it's not really necessarily home soil. I just think like when he comes back to a place where he's had success, he plays better.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, but where are the places that he's had success? Like, I guess a couple of things. Like,
Dallas.
no. Let me finish.
Okay.
Like I guess, like the places that he's had success, like it makes sense. Like on fast indoor hard, he's gonna have success. On like in Newport on grass, which is a quick surface, like he's going to have success. When he's in the States, like he's at home, so he's going to have success. Like I don't think it's just the fact that he's had success. Like with Isner, you can pretty much tie it to factors that would make you successful. Even a place like Miami, like it's close to where it's like that's basically home soil, right? He played at Georgia, like again, like that's like it's very easy to figure out where like Isner's not successful in like random places that you wouldn't think he would be successful.
Yeah, I guess. I just think it's more true with him than with a lot of other guys.
I think he gets more of a boost in being at home than other guys. I'll agree with you on that.
And I think he doesn't like the travel, right? Hasn't he been quite open about that? Like he doesn't really like going to Europe and stuff and like staying there for
I think it's certainly at this stage in his career. You know what I mean? I think it probably wasn't as much of a problem before, but yeah, I think at this stage in his career, he's not a fan. I mean, he's been very open about it at this stage in his career, not enjoying the travel, which is why I'd be really surprised. I mean, but it's interesting that like, he's defending finals points here, right?
Right, he lost to Cressy in the final.
So he'll get a wild card into the US Open for sure. But like he's what is his ranking now? Is he outside? He's outside the top 100, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
And like US Open, I think the US Open entry list is finalized this week. So like technically, if he doesn't defend his finals points, he theoretically might have to play qualies. I'm sure he won't. I'm sure they'll wild card him in.
Well, they'll give him wild card.
But like, I'm saying it's funny because it's like in theory, right? Like it would be really funny to see like Isner show up for qualies.
It would be. Man, I wish Bovada messed up these prices and like they thought that Humbert was in the fourth quarter and Monterino was in the third quarter. But they didn't. Because that's something that I feel like Bovada would mess up. Right?
They would.
They would, but they didn't this time. Way to go. Round of applause. All right, so that does it for Newport. Let's head to Sweden. Talk about Bastad.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean Bastad is definitely the toughest draw of the bunch, I would say.
Yeah. Rue beat up Shevchenko. I think that's kind of interesting just because like he showed, I mean, like it's not surprising at Clay 250 he'll do well, but I thought it was interesting that he beat up Valentina Shevchenko.
Mm-hmm. Valentina. Isn't that a UFC fighter?
It is, yeah. Okay. If you get the reference. I love to have these random references be like, Will Manny get the reference. Yeah, you got that one, yeah. But it's he won by unanimous decision, right? Like he won on all the scorecards.
He did. I think Valentina is slightly better than Alexander because Valentina is a beast.
Yeah, she is. That was a really unfair thing to say about Valentina Shevchenko. But yeah.
Oh, one last thing about Newport I wanted to add was like that we were discussing on the Discord. Like you thought that Kevin Anderson winning the tournament would be great for the sport. I was like, no, we're betting 250s. It's all about the moolah, right? Like,
yeah, I was joking.
Yeah,
honestly, I was joking. Like, 250s are for the diehards, right? Like we've had this discussion before. Like, no casual fan has any idea that this 250 is even going on,
right?
Like,
yeah,
it doesn't really matter. It's not relevant for the sport. Like nobody.
But do you consider betting on 250s slightly degen?
No. I mean, they're legitimate tennis tournaments that the players want to win, right?
Yeah, I've seen very few unmotivated players this week, to be honest. Like watching these matches, like I
Well,
don't
I
see
mean, why
much
would like
thinking.
there might be one or two guys that get appearance fees, but like other than that, like this isn't like the week before a slam where you might show up to play one or two like warm up matches, then want to get out of there, right? Like, this is like, I mean, next week is more 500s, right? There's not even a Masters for a couple more weeks yet, so
Yeah, and I feel like I don't know, like winning an ATP tournament for a lot of these guys is a big deal.
well, we kind of made fun of the weak draws, with the exception of Bastad. Like, yeah, I mean, for anybody, with the exception of Tommy Paul, and even probably for Tommy Paul, I don't know if Tommy Paul has any titles, but like with the exception of Tommy Paul and maybe Manarino because he's won a few titles. Like and for Manarino, winning titles is a huge deal at this stage of his career for the points, the money, yada yada.
Yeah,
So like, yeah, it's a huge deal for these guys. Huge.
it is. It is. Because we just think about slams as being a big deal, Masters 1000s, but like for these guys, like winning in just a single ATP event is a huge deal. So I
Yeah.
haven't
Well,
seen
again,
much
like
thinking, to be honest.
it's levels of fandom, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's the same conversation we had before. So we will probably have the
Yeah.
same conversation twice in one
Right.
pod. We can have it again next week.
So
Dude, what happened today, man? I do have to ask you, like, what's up with this 6-1-6-0 performance? Like, you did win a game, so congratulations. Can you describe what happened out there today?
just played like complete dog shit. And like Zverev actually wanted to make amends for his new allegations.
Yeah, I guess so. So I mean, like, we had this debate. Like,
Uh-huh. Was this a mentally tough performance from Zverev?
it's a different bucket of mentally tough, right? Like, this is a different bucket of mentally tough than like not choking on big points, or you know what I mean. But I think there's like we've talked about this before. Like, there's several different like categories of mentally tough. I think this falls under one of those categories. Like, being able to block out distractions is a form of mental toughness.
Okay. I to me, I don't think anything Zverev does at this point will make me believe that he's mentally tough. Like he could win like 3 slams, and I still wouldn't say he's mentally tough, just based on his like track record. You know, like I don't know, it might be based on personal hatred, I guess, towards him, but I don't know. He just appears to me as just such a spoiled brat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, the problem is like we've talked about this before, right? Like I don't think he's bad all the time, but his bad moments have been so bad that like it's really hard for it not to be an eyesore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I also think, if these abuse allegations come up once, right? You might give the benefit of the doubt to him, and you might say, okay, maybe he didn't do it. The victim was looking for a good payday, right? Like that's a narrative that's feasible, right? But now that it's happened twice, like something is off. I think like he's just not a good dude. I think that's what it kind of, like why is it appearing again?
I really don't like to speculate on this sort of stuff, Like I'd rather let it play out, like
Okay.
let
Okay.
the evidence play out. Like I just don't, I don't know. You never know. I think it's wholly unfair in either direction, right? To speculate on like
That's probably a fair statement. I just like I'm not really giving him the benefit of that doubt here. Like I remember there were some commentators who just like would refuse to talk about him because he was in, these allegations were surfacing around him. Like, and I didn't agree with that because you have to kind of prove it, right? But like now it's happening again. And I just think, I don't know.
yeah. I guess my point was more like, regardless of whether or not you think it's a good guy, I was from a pure tennis perspective or from a pure athletic perspective, impressed that he was able to kind of put it aside and still play good tennis. You know what I mean? It's like it's not saying is he a good guy. Like, I don't know, but like it's not I'm just saying from a pure tennis perspective, pure athletic perspective, I thought it was impressive from like a, that he was able to put it
As
aside.
you know, I have a lot of weaknesses, right? And like based on the eye test, you could see how my game doesn't really match up well against Zverev because like if I hit that high loopy forehand to his backhand, like Zverev is just going to pound that.
It's also like Zverev is tall, which is bad for you. And then high balls aren't a problem for Zverev, which is bad for you. Yeah, like I knew you matched up poorly with Zverev, which is why I didn't want to take any games or anything. But like, dude, like
One and
31,
love.
32 clay matches, you at least got to 5 games in a set, and then you get to 1 game in the match. Like,
I just laid an egg. What can I say? What can I say?
you literally laid an egg. You laid an egg. The one of the sets was a literal egg, and then you laid a stick. So like you laid two products out there, an egg and a
Yeah,
stick.
I know. And I've actually been playing pretty good tennis recently, so it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. It was quite disappointing.
Oh man. I don't know. Did you see much of the Musetti Arnaldi match? That was actually a great
No, but
match.
he's a really good player. Like he's a young
Good.
kid. He's gonna be really good. Remember I think he beat Rude in one of the Masters
In
Madrid. And like that's not the best tournament probably for Rude, but like he still beat Rude in 2 sets. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good player. I'm not really taking a whole lot away from like I'm not going to dock, especially with Musetti being in a surface transition. I'm not going to dock Musetti a whole lot for that. In fact, if anything, I'm going to give him a couple points that he got through it and found a way, even though it was
he had
8-6
7 match
tie
points.
break.
He had 7
What?
match points.
Yeah, that's brutal. I didn't realize he had 7 match points.
7. Like Musetti was clearly the better player and was always ahead in this match, but Arnaldi just kept clawing back.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like I don't think
it took Musetti 7 match points to close it out. How many of those were on his serve?
Quite a few. It was like 3 or 4.
Yeah, he had 15-40. So he had 4 points. He had 4 match points with Arnaldi serving at 4-5. And then he had 1 more in the tiebreak. So I think only 5 or 6.
Okay.
He lost 5. Only 1 was on serve. So like,
yeah,
still not great though. If you get 4 match points in the guy's serve, you should be able to convert.
Yeah, I hit Musetti minus 3.5 there, and I just thought he just had more variety and just more kind of play court ability than Arnaldi.
He does, but Arnaldi's really tough. Like Arnaldi's like,
competes hard. Plus the tough turnaround. Like they gave Arnaldi a really tough schedule. The fact that he was last on center against Rusevori the day before, and then played third on against Musetti, or second on even.
Yeah,
that was a tight turnaround that I didn't think he would be ready for. But credit to him, he made that competitive. Did you end up hitting that Leo Borg bet against Coria?
I went Borg over 7. He got 6.
Jeez, Borg is terrible, man.
But he's honestly, it was more of like, look, Coria's not that good. They have similar styles. They're both those guys are like super defensive style players, like counterpuncher, borderline. Like nobody in the tour is a pusher, but like borderline that.
Yeah.
Borg, like again, like I didn't think he was going to win the match, but 7 games like is not that much to ask against a player like Coria at home. Like, I thought. I thought he'd get to 8 or 9. Like I didn't think it was going to be like, and like I mean, he was 1 game short. He was 6. Like it wasn't like he was that far off. Like so, I don't like, and the first set he was 6-4. So first set he was on pace to get there. It's just second set didn't go so well. So,
I mean, I honestly think a big factor in him beating Elias Ymer was the fact that his brother. Got this.
I don't know, man. Like, I actually watched the highlights of that match because I was curious about that match in general. Because I was curious as to how Borg won.
Yeah.
I actually thought that match was like decent quality, like for what it was, which is like Eli Ymer versus Leo Borg. Like Eli Ymer isn't that good of a player either, right? Like he's better than Leo Borg, but like looking at the score, like 100% makes sense. Looking at the score to have that narrative, but like. I watched the match. Like Eli played hard. Like Eli competed. Like it was not an Eli Ymer not competing issue. He hit some dumb shots. He made a few bad errors. he couldn't put any balls away, but like that's Eli Emer's whole career. So like I have a hard time saying like, like I have a hard time sitting here going, oh, like it was because he was sad about his brother, as opposed to like Eli Emer's just not like Eli Emer loses match like this because he doesn't have any put away shots. And like, he makes a lot of balls, but like, 20th, 30th ball, he's likely to start making mistakes. He makes some bad choices. Like, but this has been Eli Emer's whole career. It's
my
why
main takeaway is that you never back a Ymer brother as a favorite.
That's the takeaway. That is the takeaway.
Either Ymer brother doesn't matter, right? Never back them as a favorite. You can back them as a dog.
Honestly, I don't know, man. Eli Emer is hard to ever back. Like his brother's a little bit better. Eli Emer has like nothing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really got like nothing. Like it's just like I don't know, like I don't even know how he's gotten as far as he's gotten because he's just got like he's fast. He's a good athlete, and like that's what he's got, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, look, he's pretty consistent, right? Like it's not.
Yeah, he's pretty consistent.
For a challenger level player, I get how he's gotten where he's gotten. Now that I say it, like that's decent challenger level tennis. Like you forget challenger level tennis isn't amazing. Like it's not. There's a gap between challenger and ATP level players.
So in terms of betting here, we hit Bernabe against Delian -3.5, which I think
I thought that was a shoo-in, man. Like Delian's a pretty easy guy to bet. Like you can back him against challenger level players. You have to fade him against ATP level players.
Absolutely.
His game is just like he's a worse version of Montero. He's a worse version of you. But like he just can't he's just not good enough. Like he doesn't have anything to trouble. Like because his serve's not quite as good as yours, he's just not quite good enough to trouble like ATP level players, especially like Bernabe on clay, who's like Bernabe on clay is a legit ATP player. Yes. He's well in the top 50s. Yes. So I was surprised to see that even at 3. I thought that should have been another at least 4.5, maybe 5. Like, which ended up coming in at 4. So I think I got it -3 even. Maybe it was -3 that I got it at, or -2.5 or something. Like I got it a little bit better.
I think I got 2.5.
What?
I think I got 2.5.
Yeah, I think you got 2.5 and I got 3. But like,
yeah,
I thought that should have been at least 4, if not 4.5, maybe even 5. Like the match ended up at 4, but like,
and let's just be clear, my serve is worse than Delian's. All right, yeah, let's be clear about that. But it's just my serve resembles Montero's more, but it's way worse. Yeah, let's just be clear to the viewers. So Kotov, I hit that last minute against Cecchinato. Cecchinato has been awful since Geneva.
Yeah, I just thought on a slow clay court, like that felt like I stayed away because like I mean we were talking with Come Out Me Bro, and like literally my comment was like Cecchinato should win this match, but he's been so bad that I can't trust either of these guys. It's a pure stay away. So congratulations to you for hitting it. I couldn't see betting in either direction. Like it's just
that's fair.
That's
fair. I had Rusevori money line against Arnaldi, which was frustrating because Rusevori just played the most shitty tiebreak. Third set.
Yeah, he got bageled.
Yeah, it was terrible. Coria Baez, that was.
We had you to beat Galan, right? We both were on you to beat Galan.
Yep, we
did. You did.
Yeah, that was one of our plays of the day, the first day. So that was good.
Yeah, it was plus money, right?
Plus money, plus 110, I think.
Yeah, which was amazing. I don't know how like.
Yeah,
that was kind of insane. But
transition. Yeah. Coria Baez was probably the most brutal match of the first round.
Anytime those guys play, it's gonna be brutal, man. Like both those guys aren't gonna like. Baez actually has a few more weapons than Coria, but like, yeah.
And the conditions are really slow here in Gstaad, and it's like pretty rainy and humid as well.
Yeah, because of the rain, it's really slowed down.
Really slow, so that made that match super brutal. How about Fokina? You did really well on this match. Didn't you bet the first set money line?
I didn't have the money line, but I had the first set money line. That
was amazing.
I remember what I had. The first set money line.
Kovalik.
I had Kovalik plus games, and I had something else. And I think, I had a Fokina over 12.5, and that didn't hit.
Yeah.
But the first time I only was like at 3 plus 305, so I did well.
So is Fokina a fade guy now?
No, well, no, I don't think so. But like, what would make him a fade guy? Like, I'm not surprised he lost this match. I'm surprised he lost, but I'm not surprised. Like, I'm not stunned. Like, I'm surprised I'm not stunned.
I don't know. I just think as long as you're getting really good plus odd or like if Fokina is a huge favorite, like more than a plus 300 or 400 or minus 300 or 400 favorite, I think you have to back the dog. Because I think he could lose to anyone if he just is feeling mentally off.
I think there's spots. Like, maybe this spot against Kovalik, I mean, obviously because Kovalik won, like maybe this spot against, I thought the set one was better than playing the full match money line. And like, I think the full match money line was only like +4 something, and the set one was like +3. So they weren't all that different. And I thought the set one money line was a little bit better because of the surface transition, which is why I hit it. I mean, look, I still cashed it, so I can't be that upset. But like,
I think he's approaching like Chapo level fading right now. Whereas like,
oh no, man, there's such
no?
a gap there, dude. You can't say that. Like, the results aren't that bad for Foki.
But it's really getting to that point. Like he's finding ways to lose matches now.
Well, I mean, what matches are that bad? I mean, like, and I think that the spots where he's lost are spots that I'm not surprised by. Like I'm not stunned he lost this Kovalik match. I was all over Kovalik here, and I'm not surprised he lost to Kotov. I backed Kotov in some way in that match too. Like I think I had Kotov to win a set or something. Like I'm not surprised he lost to Hedgehog on grass. He had a good play season. Like I think this is an yeah, like he's just like I'm not surprised is my bottom line. Like I'm not like he's just a guy that like there's certain spots where he's just not going to be a good guy to back.
Okay, I just feel like he's on that precipice, whereas you have to look to kind of fade him because the books are going to still give him good value because he's had a decent season.
And
right?
see, I hear you because
so like it's kind of like buying a stock. You want to buy in early before he starts like going on a 4 or 5 game losing streak because I actually think he's also starting to fatigue a little bit, like just mentally as well. Like all these kind of close losses, all these like, tough matches. I think they're just like starting to weigh on him now. Mentally.
See, it's an interesting take, and I hear your point. Like I said, I disagree solely because like I'm not like I literally am not surprised by any of these losses. Like I just think like he's somebody who like he's gonna lose like he's just not somebody who you want to back in. My takeaway is more like he's just not somebody you want to back in first rounds of tournaments.
Okay.
Because like he's somebody who's liable to like show up and just like mail it in. Or just show up and play really bad first match of a tournament. And I think he's done this a couple other matches this year too. He lost 2-2 to Kachanov and Monte Carlo, which like losing to Kachanov's not bad, but 2-2, even for a guy on for Fokina on clay, that's not a good result. Like lost first round. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's a guy who like he's liable to lose first round matches. He did it last year, 3 matches in a row, Astana, Guillaume, and Basel. So yeah, he's just a guy who's like likely to lose. Like, I think he's a guy who's like really like maybe the takeaways in first rounds, he's not a bad guy to bet against.
Yeah.
But there's just spots where I think he just doesn't want to be there. Just like he shows up.
The season has been long and draining for him. Just also like the types of matches he plays. Like it just must be so draining to like constantly kind of lose in key moments and just, you know what I mean? I would be drained after losing 2 matches.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't really say like you don't hear anything in the media.
Well, why would he say anything?
He wouldn't. That's why I'm saying you don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's hard to say. Like I think, but I hear your point. Like if you want to jump on it, like if you think the narrative is true, then you should jump on it. I hear your point. I just don't agree with the narrative here. I think
I'm willing to take a chance. I'm gonna see where he's playing, who he's playing next week. Is he playing Hamburg? I'm assuming he is.
I would think he would.
right? So
See, there I think he's more likely I think there he's more likely
play
to be a
well.
player. Like I'm
Okay.
not surprised he played like crap in Mallorca. I'm not surprised he played like I'm not like I guess I'm not surprised he played like crap in Mallorca. I'm not surprised he played like crap in Queens Club. Like he came to Wimbledon and he played pretty decent.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's just somebody who like in these smaller events, he's just gonna like half the time he's gonna show up to these like actually, you know what I think it might like I feel like he's just somebody who like in a lot of these 250s and 500s he's just gonna mail it in. Like he wants to play Masters and Slams, I feel like.
Yeah, but he's not in the position to be doing that.
He's still top 30 in the world. He's making a good living. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like
I guess, but I don't know. To me, I'm gonna catch this boat early and start to fade him.
it may sink
I
on
want to
you.
see. I want to see how it goes, but I think this season has been draining. I think this is kind of where he's going to struggle now.
Hasn't his whole life been draining though? Like, I mean, this has been Fokina for like forever, man. Like
I
this is
guess, but
last
like
season
that
too.
8-all tiebreak underarm serve, like that's the turning point of his season. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he falls out of the top 50.
You want to make a dinner bet on that? Because that I would.
Dinner bet.
All right, 100%
All
dinner
right.
bet.
So
So Fokina,
he's 35 now.
yeah. Actually, before that, I got to see what he's defending. I don't think he's defending much. Fourth round U.S. Open. Yeah, I'll make that bet because he's defending.
Fourth round U.S. Open. What are his other results? Like towards the
Quarters
end.
Hamburg, fourth round U.S. Open, and that's it. Like that's literally it. That's all he's defending.
Would you do the dinner bet for 45?
Yeah.
All right, deal. Dinner bet.
All right. All right. Okay. I love it. I love it.
Fokina will be ranked outside the top 40, top 45 at the end of the year.
All right. I'll take that bet.
Okay, we'll take that. So basically, he needs to lose first round in Hamburg and the U.S. Open, and then I'm good.
Assuming he doesn't make a run in Cincinnati or Toronto.
Yeah, I don't think he will. All
right. See, I'm a Foki believer, man. But I am a Foki backer. Like, I know he chokes away a lot of matches, but like, and you're right. Like that that underarm serve could be I get it. Like we've seen that before with athletes where like they have that moment and it just completely messes with them. So like I hear the narrative. I think it's like less than 50% likely. Like I'm still willing to, because like I said, because we've seen like we've seen this game before for a year now with Foki where he just like there's matches where he just doesn't want to be there. And like, especially in 250s and 500s, there's just matches he like just doesn't show up for. And like, I think this is another like absent, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think
he just
it's
didn't,
not that much a question of him not showing up. I just think like his game is going to go downhill. Like, I just think mentally he's drained from whatever's happened.
So was he drained then in Dijon, Basel, and Astana last year where he lost? In Astana, he lost to Kotov. Dijon, he lost to Murray. And then Basel lost to Kecmanovic. Was he drained for all of those matches then after the U.S. Open? Mentally?
Yeah, I think so. I just think he's not a very mentally strong player. So I just think like
I think he like in terms of battling, I think he's mentally strong when he wants to be.
But then his lack of discipline kind of overrides that battling component.
I don't think it's a lack of discipline. I don't think it's like Shapo.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's a lack of it's a lack of tactics, and it's also a lack of like composure, right? Which is different than discipline.
Okay, good point. Yeah, that's right. You're right. It's the lack of tactics and composure, whereas Shapo is a lack of discipline.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know. I just sense a drop off with Foki. Like he's had a great start to the year, and I actually think he's overachieved, to be honest. Despite his talent, like I just think, like he's had decent results, but I just think like that 8-all is gonna that underarm serve and the way he played today against Kovalik, I think it's turning. And
I just don't care. Like it's like there's matches that you have to throw out, and like first round, like this is why first round of 250s are so like tough, because like some of these guys just don't like. I mean, like look, like this is like Tommy Paul mailing against Radu Albot this year in Delray Beach. You know, like there's plenty of examples where like these guys just show up to these like 250s and just mail it in. Like,
okay, all right, so dinner bet. I like
it's a good debate. It's a good debate.
Good debate. Okay. Other things, Zverev and Molchan, that was a close match. Surprising since Zverev beat him down badly in at the French.
But again, man, I'll go back to it. Like first round match in a 250.
Yeah.
With its surface transition, like this is just like these. This is why I like to stay away from a lot of these matches. And I did hit Zverev because I thought it was so like such a good matchup for him. But these first round matches in 250s, like I think it's hard to read in too much to him.
And I actually think maybe playing Molchan helped him against Montero. Because
I don't think so. How would that? I think it would be the opposite. Because like they're such different players.
But they have that loopy forehand.
Montero's is way bigger though.
Yeah, it's more offensive. That's true. Molchan's is kind of just loopy. Molchan just moves better than Montero, right? And he has a better backhand, I would say.
Of course, yeah, but that's 90% of the tour.
That's true. One match that's not here that we didn't talk about is Rublev against Kotov. So I hit Rublev -5. I think you stayed away, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, man, like I'll keep saying it, man. First round match in a 250 with the service transition, like it's just you don't know like how these guys are gonna come out. There's so many factors. And like, and it's not a priority for these. Like if you're a top 50 player, like for a lot of these, so not for everybody, but I think for like a lot of these, I'm not saying they're not motivated to play, but I'm saying it's not a priority in terms of training.
Okay.
Right? Like there's a difference between those two things. I mean, it's the same thing as Djokovic, right? Like Djokovic, the slams are the only priority. If you're Rublev, like, why do you care about like the 250s and 500s are basically like warm-up events for the Masters events at this point.
Yeah. So now let's look at the futures prices. So Ruud is +175 outright, Zverev is +325, Rublev +400, but those guys are playing in the quarters. Musetti is +450, Cerundolo is +500, Offner +2,800, Coria +3,300, Misalik 50-1.
What is Offner?
28-1. What's his draw like though?
He plays Rude in the quarters.
Yeah.
I actually don't think that's horrendous on Offner. Offner's played really well lately.
Don't you think you get like the fact that he would probably play Rude than Cerundolo? Is that right?
Yeah, I think Cerundolo's in that half. Either Cerundolo or Musetti.
Yeah, no, Musetti and then either Cerundolo, Zverev, or Rublev. I think the rollover would be better than that.
What is he against? What is he against Rude? Money line. I think he's like 400 or something.
Yeah, +400.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the rollover is better.
Yeah, the rollover's gonna be way better. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really like anything here. I actually like Rublev actually +400. That would probably be my favorite play.
I don't, because he's got to win probably three tough matches. Like he should beat Zverev. He should beat all. I think he's the best player in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably value there. He should, but there's probably more value in the rollover there because he's plus money against Zverev. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
Yeah, he is plus money. But I don't know if he plays Cerundolo in the semis. He's probably a slight favorite, I would say.
Yeah, but he's probably so your rollover gets you need to get to 5 units, right? At plus 400, you need to make 4 units, right? You need to get to 5 units total. If you roll over 1 against Zverev at plus money, because he's a little over 2, right?
Yeah.
I think he's probably not worse than like -1. I don't see how it'd be worse than -180 against Cerundolo.
No, probably.
You're rolling that 2 into at least 3 to 3.5.
Yeah, and then he'd be.
And then if he plays Musetti or Ruud in the final, I don't think he's worse. I think against Ruud, he's probably in there as a slight dog.
Yeah.
It's I mean, I don't agree with that, but I think he probably would be placed that way. And I think against Musetti, he's probably a minus, I don't know, 150 or something. So like if you average that out, I think you're probably better off on a rollover. I mean, the only way you wouldn't be is if you got messed up in like either Cerundolo lost or if somehow like he ended up in the final against like somebody not Musetti or Ruud.
Yeah, Coria.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Coria and Mislic like aren't even like they don't really have much of a hope here.
No, he would play Offner or Mislic. Yeah. Then you'd get screwed on the rollover, but yeah, I guess not much value here. All right,
kind of interesting. Lajovic lost his first round match. It was his first match in a while, so I'm not concerned about it. But he did lose to Mislic.
Yeah, Lajovic is up and down. All these Serb guys are very tough to bet. Lajovic, Krajinovic.
I put Lajovic in a different category. I just don't think I don't know. Like I'm surprised. Like he was just out for a while. Like that's fine. Again, like if guys are out for a month, like it's hard to expect them to win their first match back.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's head over.
Shevchenko beat Cerundolo. That was a battle that we had on the last pod. Shevchenko beat Cerundolo pretty badly. That's
yeah. I actually think you overhype bad Cerundolo. I don't think he's that great of an athlete, like you say he is.
He's fast. He's really fast.
He's fast.
He's not really like powerful, but he's fast.
He's really not that good. I don't know. I don't.
But on slow play, like the speed helps him because he can run a lot of balls down. But like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's actually he's a worse version of like Coria because like at least Coria can hits the ball like Coria is like more accurate. Like Cerundolo is not very accurate, which is his problem, I think. Actually, like if you're going to be a defensive style player, you've got to get the ball deep consistently.
You do. I also think he doesn't play very smart tactically. I think he goes down the line too early in rallies.
He also floats well. He hits a lot of balls into the middle. Like at the ATP Tour level, you have to get the ball to one side or the other. Like putting the ball in the middle of the court is not ideal.
No, it's not. All right, so let's head over to Gstaad in altitude.
I think this is the highest altitude tournament on the tour now.
Really?
It's the highest one in Europe, and like there's no longer a tournament in Quito. There's no longer a tournament in Bogota. Like there's definitely challenger levels at higher altitudes, but I don't think there's anything higher than this on the ATP main tour.
Madrid?
No. This is higher than Madrid.
Higher than Madrid?
Well higher, yeah.
All right.
I know it's the highest in Europe. I don't know if it's higher than I don't know. I didn't go through every single tournament. I can't think of anything in South America that's higher. Africa only has Marrakech. The Asian tournaments are all pretty low. There's not really any high tournaments in Asia.
So this tournament has been my best tournament in terms of betting so far. We hit on the Kachin money line against RBA today.
We did. Yep.
6-6. Kachin does play well in altitude.
He does.
He had good.
I haven't been able to figure out why, but for some reason he does. I think he's fit. I think that helps him.
Okay.
I mean, have you? Like, do you know why he plays well at altitude?
He's not really a power player. He doesn't have a huge serve. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know.
But he seems to. I agree with you. Like I've just kind of been backing it because like he plays pretty well at altitude. So like until he like proves me wrong, I guess I'll hit him. But like
I know. Yeah.
I can't really figure out why.
And I also think RBA's game doesn't really favor altitude. Like his flat shots and just like he's getting older too. I mean, he's fit, but he's just like he doesn't do
a great
anything
spot to hit Kachin. In fact, it wasn't even. I mean, I got it at 155, but like this was a great spot to hit Kachin.
Great spot. The ARV loss to or win against Sonego surprised me.
I think it surprised everyone. ARV's been so bad, and especially
like guys like Tennis Master on Twitter hit ARV at plus 220, which was like amazing.
I think they were more playing against Sonego. I think it was more of a fade on Sonego.
But ARV's been so bad.
And I know I couldn't back ARV. I stayed away here because I was like, I don't want to back Sonego and I don't want to back ARV. That was my opinion here.
I backed Sonego, but I actually thought altitude actually favors Sonego because like his game is bigger to begin with.
First match back after slam, after surface transition.
Yeah, I just love betting these matches, so I guess I need to listen to that. Hopman,
I mean, you can still back, man. You can still bet these second rounders. Just don't back the favorites. You love backing dogs.
It's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, but like, like Hamad was a dog. Altmaier was a dog. You would have gotten close. I mean, you would have lost, but you would have gotten close.
Ketchmeier was
actually a dog.
Did you back Altmaier?
No, I backed Hoffman.
Okay.
But I did Hoffman over 12.5, so it hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Stricker futures. I was so sad because I was like, oh, I wanted to hit the Stricker. Well, actually, I was so sad the other night, and I was so happy when Stricker I wasn't happy they lost. I lost my futures, but like I wanted to hit Stricker money line so bad against Mio, and then I saw Stricker was a favorite, and I was like, oh well, now I can't hit it. Like now it's like not really.
I hit it.
Now it's just unplayable. Like
I hit it anyway. I just love fading Mio.
Yeah, I couldn't fade Mio. Like it was like at that price I couldn't I literally was like, oh, I'm gonna fade Mio, I'm gonna fade Mio, I'm gonna fade Mio. I was all pumped up. And then I saw like minus like even money, like everybody already faded Mio. No, I can't fade him now. Like I didn't back him either, but like I was just like, no, now I have to stay away because like Mio, he's like Stricker's just not that good. Like he's fun, but like he's just not that good.
Yeah. He did beat my guy Arthur Feast in the first round 6-6, which we hit the over on, which I think was a great.
That was a great hit by us. That was one of our bets of the tournament. Like that was a great bet. We've had success betting this tournament. I think we've had 2 or 3 plays of the day come out of this tournament and be successful.
We had, yeah. Kachin against Daniel was another play of the day.
That was a play of the day, right?
Hit. Medvedevich against Team. That was another play of the day.
That was another play of the day. Yeah, I think we're like 4 for 4 in this tournament. I did hit Bagnus though against Varias on the money line, and that blew up in my face. That was sad times. I think Varias is overhyped due to that French Open run, which I think is also an overhyped run. Like
he's actually playing well though. Varias.
But like, I don't know.
I bet Wawrinka to win the tournament after the first round against I thought he played well against RCB despite the injury and the retirement, but like I thought he was actually playing pretty good tennis leading into this event. Like I thought he played pretty well at Wimbledon.
Yeah, I just
plus 600 at home.
When we talked about this, I have a hard time backing Stan to win any tournament now. Like I get it, like if he's gonna win, this was gonna be the time. Like I have a hard time backing him to win any tournament. I also have a hard time backing him to win. Did they not list his loss to Munar here? Because he did lose to Munar.
Yeah,
I think it's just not on the page.
I guess he just didn't list it.
Yeah. I have a hard time backing Wawrinka to win any tournament now. And I have a hard time backing guys at altitude who haven't played at altitude in a while.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, Wawrinka did choke that match today. Like he was up 5-2, I think, in the first set.
But then he went away in the second. Like that was my concern. I told you, like literally, actually what I was gonna hit, what I almost did hit was Munar 2-1 at plus 500. And it wouldn't have cashed, but that's if I was going to bet the match, I would either gone 2-0 with Wawrinka or 2-1 Munar, because I didn't think there was any way Wawrinka was winning a third set there, and that was the problem.
Interesting. What are your takes on Hamad Medvedevich?
Good player, a lot of holes, but a lot of talent. You know, like your standard young kid. Like your standard young kid, a lot of game, a lot of talent, a lot to work on. Like,
what do you think his upside is? Like top 40, top 30?
Something like that. I was gonna say 50, but that's all the same. Like, if you can make the top 50, you can make the top 30. You're just one run at 250 away.
I probably agree with that. All right, so that's
Gary out early. That's a relevant thing.
Gary, yeah. Didn't you bet futures on him?
I did. I had futures on Derry, yeah.
I think the Bet Rivers guys were on that too.
They were, yeah.
So,
it's Fonini. Did you bet Fonini, Manny?
No.
There was somebody who did bet Fonini. There was somebody who did bet Fonini on Twitter that I made fun of. I can't remember who it was. But it was definitely, and they're pretty good. Somebody who's pretty good. I can't remember who it was, but somebody who's pretty good normally with their betting. And I just ran.
It was ATP Sharp.
Yeah, that's usually pretty good. That's usually pretty good.
Yeah, he's good. He's really good.
Yeah, he's good, but like I had to rip into him for betting a Fonini first round match. I was like, dude, you can't at a first round of a 250, you cannot bet Fonini if you're a serious tennis bettor. Yeah. Like,
I thought the one play that was kind of enticing to me in that ARV Fonini match was the under 22, and like I wouldn't have cashed, but like that was nearly a 3-set under.
Yeah, did you hit it?
No, I didn't hit it.
Wow, I bet you didn't hit. Wow.
Yeah. Wow, I bet I didn't hit. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that was the one bet I was kind of thinking of. There was just a lot of other good things on the board on Tuesday, so I was like, you know what, just stay away from that match.
Medvedevich beat Team. I mean, going back to it, he beat another loss for Team, an event that he should do well in.
Yeah. Yeah, Team is just disappointing.
I don't know, man. I just think the injuries have caught up to him.
I guess he's like his fast twitch muscles have kind of escaped him. Like his return of serve is atrocious. Like he's I just don't think he has as much power. He just seems like he has no power now. Like no explosion as an athlete anymore. Yeah, and also like no timing. Like he's slow on return. Where like his reaction is slow, and that's why he stands so far back. But even when he does that, he doesn't get a clean hit on the ball.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, I never thought he was really like a fast twitch athlete to begin with, but I thought he was a really powerful athlete in his heyday. Yeah. And that's why he was successful. Like, not just hitting the ball big, but like a powerful swing.
Right.
Kind of like Wawrinka, Wawrinka hits the ball huge, but like, kind of like that. But like with the power gone, like now he has nothing left.
I know. Yeah, it's really sad because like he's a really nice guy, and like I think he works really hard, and like
well, I think he overworked himself. I think that's a big part of why his career went south. I think he did overwork him. Like there was always a criticism of him that he played way too many tournaments when he was like in the top 10.
Yeah,
and I think it caught up to him.
Yeah, you're probably right. All right, so let's preview these quarterfinals. Where do you want to start?
Should we start with Newport semi, or I guess there's 2 Newport quarters, right?
Yeah, and I guess we could preview the semi, which is out too.
Yeah.
If you want.
Newport.
All right, so Mackie McDonald and Alex Michelson. So Mackie is a 2.5 game favorite, minus 180 on the money line. Michelson is plus 150, over under 22.5. I actually think it's well set, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not betting this. I think like there might be value on the Michelson plus 2.5, maybe, or maybe even the Michelson money line. Like Mackie sometimes goes away in matches, but I'm not hitting it. Like I don't think like I think this is pretty well set.
See, I actually think the other way. I'm not going to hit it because I don't think there's a real hedge opportunity here with our Michelson futures, as you said before. But I think Mackey will find a way to get some breaks here.
So some breaks. You got him down for some breaks. So meaning more than one break.
Like I see like 4-4 kind of thing. That's the scoreline I see. I don't know. I just think Mackey's just way too solid from the baseline. And if they get
I'm not saying that I think Michelson wins this match, and I'm not hitting it because I think it's probably it's within like the juice, is within the bounds there. But like I think this line is like if I was saying this is a book, I'd probably still have it at 2.5, but I'd have it at like even money for Michelson or minus, I guess, minus 105 versus the minus like 110 or minus 120, whatever's up there right now. But like, it's not anywhere near enough to hit it.
I think the best way to play this is play Mackey in a parlay, like just Mackey money line in a parlay.
Okay.
That's probably the way I would play it, but I actually don't mind the Mackey 2-0 at plus 135. But all right. So that's
He
that.
is in home soil. You know, there you're probably right. Now, the more I think about it, I think you're probably right. I think that probably the value is on Mackey. But
Michelson has also played so much tennis, that challenger run, and
but he's had an off day now, right? Like,
yeah, but 2 wins in a row. Can he make it 3? Like, that's a lot to ask.
I mean, I think it's a lot to ask because he's beaten Cressy and Duckworth, and now this is a step up in class to McDonald, right? I think the issue is that he's playing a guy who's, I think he's just playing a really like a good tennis player. I think that's in my mind that's more the issue than like anything about winning 3 matches opposed to 2, especially with an off day. Like,
yeah. You know what? I think I'm gonna hit Mackey here in some capacity. The more we talk about it, the more I'm favoring Mackey.
yeah, I don't hate it. I'm not going to because I think it's within. I still think the book it's pretty well set and close enough to well set to keep me off it. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Tommy Paul and John Isner. So Paul's a 2-game favorite, minus 210 on the money line. Isner is a plus 170 dog, and the over-under is 24.
The over-under came down. I think it was at 25 when I saw it yesterday.
I think 24 is the more appropriate line. I don't think it should be 25 here.
I mean, what's the difference really between 24 and 25? I mean, they're so similar. You're literally talking like 7-5, 7-5. Like, that's not a common score line, 5-5. 7, especially in an Isner match, 7-5, 7-6. The thing is,
Isner's serve has actually declined. It's not as good as it once was.
But if it's 7-6, 6-4, you're going under 25 or 24. I just don't think like my quibble here is that I don't think 24 and 25 are that different actually. Okay. Like once you get over 23, I think it's kind of like all the same unless you're talking 26.
Okay. Do you have a lean here?
I think this is pretty. I mean, I think this is a pretty easy match to set, and I think it's pretty well set. I can see the appeal of Paul because theoretically, if he can get it done in 2 sets, there's only 1 break. But like with how much Tommy Paul loves to choke matches away, man. Yeah, like I don't think like I don't really want to hit Paul here because like I think there's actually a pretty significant mental gap. But I also don't want to back Isner because Paul, like it's just a really like, yeah, it's just like Paul versus Isner. Like I just don't want to back Isner there. But like with the mental gap with Paul, I don't really want to back Paul as big of a favorite either. So I'm gonna stay away. I think this is pretty well set.
So the Bet Rivers guys were on Isner money line here. Actually.
What was the reasoning? Just how well he's played here, Isner?
How well he's played at Newport. He's actually returned serve better in Newport than other places statistically throughout his career. Okay. And maybe it's that, the fade Tommy Paul spot in a 250.
Yeah. I'll have to listen to the Bet Rivers guys, see if they convince me anything here, but I don't know, man. It's the problem with Isner is it's got to be in 2 sets, right?
Right. That's true. It's a good point.
And like, how does he break Tommy Paul unless Tommy Paul hands him a break because he gets nervous?
So then if you want to play Isner, you might as well hit Isner to win and under 26.5.
Well, what is the Isner 2-0?
Plus 350.
So Isner under 26.5 is better?
Yeah. Bovada
That's
just doesn't know how to set the
stupid.
lines.
What?
Bovada just doesn't know how to set the lines.
Yeah.
But I actually think there's value there. Isner to win and under 26.5.
If you're gonna play this, it's not a bad way to play it. I'm not going to, but if you're gonna play it, it's not a bad way to play it.
Okay. I'll think about it. All right. Next match. Ugo Humbert and Monterino. This is a semifinal. Pure pick'em.
Has to be Manarino, right? Like, what are we doing here?
I know. Absolutely.
Well, I guess the only thing is like maybe not. I don't know. This one I actually do have to think a little bit about this one.
What's the head-to-head?
It's a good question. But you got to throw out a lot of head-to-head with Manarino, man.
Wow, look at these guys. 38 and 40, both Frenchmen, both like flat ball hitters, both lefties. 1-1 head-to-head.
Pick them, right?
It's a pure pick'em, man.
But I mean Manarino, so here's the challenge, right? Like in terms of winning matches, Manarino's definitely been the better player lately, right? Like Humbert struggled to win matches.
But during clay, they flip-flopped. Like Humbert was really good on clay and Monterino was atrocious. Just throw that away.
Well, Humbert was really good.
Yeah.
Manarino was Manarino. Manarino, like he's never gonna be good on clay. Like clay's just not his surface. Like that's whatever. Like, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some stuff here because there's actually something I'm curious about. Are you actually betting Hopman Cup?
I'm just looking at the lines.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The more I think about it, like, I did say that I think Manarino's a fade. The more I look at it, like, the more I think he's a fade. But I still can't get to this being. I still don't know how this is a pick 'em. Like,
I agree. I think Manarino should be like minus 150, 145.
like it should be like a minus 150 plus 120 type of match. Yeah, I think there's just. I mean, I think at a minus 110, I think I can get there on Manarino.
Yeah, and also he has a day off. I think if they were playing tomorrow, I would favor Humbert here. But they're playing in 2 days.
Yeah.
Right? So Manarino will have that rest.
Yeah. I agree. For me, it's like I would want like minus 140 or better to take Manarino, but I'll take Manarino at minus 110 on the money line.
Yeah. What's Manarino 2 sets to love plus 200?
Ew.
Yeah, that's not good. All right, so that's Newport. Let's head to Bastad.
Gstaad.
So the first match in the morning, 5 a.m. Eastern time, Musetti and Misalik. Musetti is 5.5 game favorite, minus 700. Misalik is plus 475. Over under is 20. Do you have a play here?
I like the over 9 in that first set. I just think in general this line is a little bit too far from Musetti.
I agree.
Like I think it should be more like 4.5. Like, I think he's the way like a huge favorite.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, man. Like, does it matter if it's 5.5 or 4.5? Like, 5 games on clay is kind of is not nearly as relevant a number as like a faster surface, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Musetti's like good enough to get breaks. He's not that good at serve. I don't trust that Mislic could like won't necessarily like win a set and then have issues in the second and third. I don't necessarily want to take Musetti over 12.5. Like, so, but like over 9, man, to lose that bet, you've got to have the first set be 6-2. I don't know, man. Like, I feel
juice,
like
though. It's minus 125.
juice isn't that bad. I mean, minus 125 is not terrible juice. Like,
What's Musetti?
I don't mind it.
Musetti 2-0 here. Ooh, yuck. All right.
Oh, so you actually looking at back Musetti here?
No, I was just curious, seeing if it was like minus 150, I think that would be fine. Not minus 230.
Yeah, but if the spread's minus 5.5, it's not going to be that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
what about Misselect to win a set at plus 170?
the problem is like Mislick. I don't hate it. I actually I toyed with that bet. I think I actually might have bet that. Can't remember. I think I might have bet that down. I bet that because like I did, you know, no, I didn't. I did not bet that.
Yeah.
But Mislick just isn't like he's not a very appealing guy to bet. His game is not very exciting. Like he's got a very like blasé game. I really don't see what he does to like trouble Musetti, but I also just don't really feel like betting Musetti minus 5.5 against anyone or even minus 5 against a lot of guys is a good idea. And Misalic is like, he is winning matches lately. He did qualify here. He's not beating like great players, but he is beating players. If you look at his tennis abstract, he won a challenger a couple months ago.
I don't like backing Musetti that much, to be honest.
Not in these spots.
No.
But like Misalic's game is just so it's so meh. Like I have a hard time. That's why I want the over 9 in the first set. Like I feel like I don't know. Like do I think Misalic can win 3 games in a set? Like hopefully. And that's kind of what I'm, if he wins 3 games, I don't lose money, right? Like, so that's kind of where I'm going.
You know what? I'm going to play Misselect to win a set at plus 170. That's going to be my play here.
I don't hate it. I think if you were going to back Misselect, like in a way that's truly backing Misselect, that's what I would do. It's just like have you seen Misselect play?
Yeah, once or twice. Clay is clearly his best surface.
Yeah, but he's just got no weapons, man. He's like a worse version of Coria. He's kind of like Leo Bohr. He's probably a little better than Leo Bohr, but he's kind of like Leo Bohr. He's just got no like. He spins the ball. He's got pretty good spin on his shots, but like, he just spins the ball.
Play down to the level of the competition.
Does he anymore though? He's been a little better at that recently. Like that definitely used to be a problem for him, but he's a young kid. I feel like he's growing there.
Yeah, his losses are to pretty good opposition.
Yeah. No, Musetti's playing pretty well right now. Like that's the problem. Is like, right. I still think, man, like 5.5 is a lot. Like that's a lot of games. And like 9 in the first set, man. Like I mean, look, like it's hard to beat a guy 6-2 in a first set.
Yeah, you know what? I'm starting to think that this plus 170 is not good enough. Considering that Musetti's been beating up on players he should be beating.
Yeah. it's a crappy match to bet. The line, I don't think the line's that well set. Like it almost doesn't need to be. It's just like Musetti, like it's almost one where if you're like a professional bettor, you bet Musetti like 2-0 and just lay the massive juice. I know nobody likes doing that, but like maybe in a parlay you put Musetti 2-0 and it's just a slight odds booster.
Yeah.
Because I don't see how he loses a set here.
You know what? It's not gonna be our play of the day, but I'm gonna tail you on this over 9. I want to play this match. It's the first match of the day.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. All right, next match. Casper Ruud and Sebastian Offner. So Ruud is a 5-game favorite off minus 550 on the money line. Offner is plus 400. The over-under is 20.5. On first glance, I don't mind the over on games here. Offner has actually played good tennis.
I'm all over Offner here.
All over Offner here, like Offner money line.
No, but like I was looking at Ruud's like serving points 1 and receiving points 1 stats on clay last 52 weeks. I think he's like 8th or he's like somewhere between the top 5 and the top 10 in serving points 1 percentage. Okay. And he's like not even in the top 10 in return points 1 percentage. Like we said this before, Manny. Like he's just not that good. Like I make fun of you because I like to make fun of you because you were the original fader of him, and like I like to make fun of you like 3 times slam finalists in the past 5 slams. Like what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah,
but like, and this is a spot. Like I think he'll win the match though. Like I do think he'll win the match. So I don't really want to take the money line, but like I think 5 is too much here. I think Offner like this should be more like 3.5, 4. I think like Offner's played really good tennis recently on clay and grass. His rankings all the way up to the top 60 in the world. He's got a decent serve, pretty big game. Like,
yeah, he handled Etch in the final 2 the sets 2 and 3.
Yeah, like I don't see
quite impressive.
I don't see why this is 5. Like 5 is a little bit too big to me here.
You're going plus 5, or are you going to go plus 1.5 sets? Offering to win a set.
I'm going 1 unit on each.
1 unit on each.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like plus 1.5 sets at plus 140.
Yeah. I'm going 1 unit on each. The plus 5 is a little bit of a, I guess a little, not a hedge, but it's like a little bit of a.
The thing is on clay, I prefer taking sets and laying games.
We've talked about this before. I think this is one example where like Ruud being like an overhyped returner, the combination of Ruud's receiving game being overhyped and Offner having a decent serve like makes this a better spot than other clay spots to take the games. Okay. But I think of the plays I probably prefer the taking the 7.5 at plus 140.
I'm also going to take Ruud to win over 20.5 games. I like that at plus 130.
Okay. I don't actually like. I don't, but no. I see the appeal. I see the appeal.
I'm going to take those 2 bets here. All right, next match. We got, probably the match of the day tomorrow. Rublev against Zverev.
I don't understand why Zverev's a favorite here.
Me too. I think this
Rublev won Monte Carlo. He's like that's the slowest clay, right? That's the slowest clay. Rublev won it. Like I don't understand. So actually, I do know why this is because Zverev is like 6-1 head-to-head or something.
Yeah, but Rublev beat him this year in Dubai.
So A, that. B, I don't think there's any meetings in the past 2 years besides that. Like 4 of the meetings are pre-COVID. Like you're just not going to convince me that like Zverev, like you're not going to convince me that Zverev has this massive matchup edge over Rublev. I do think this is a close match, but like, because I think these guys are like, Zverev I think is I don't know. He's a better athlete. The backhand is better than Rublev, but Rublev's forehand is way better. So like, I love Rublev at plus money here. I think this should be at least flipped.
Bet of the day?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's
This
do
is
it.
my favorite. This is my favorite bet on the board.
Okay. I completely agree with everything you said.
Were the Bet Rivers guys on this?
No, they weren't.
Wow, interesting.
I don't think they really had a play. I think they thought that the line was pretty well set. So,
Okay, interesting.
yeah. But I know Dave from Match.9 is on Rublev here.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So, yeah. I think that's all I'm gonna hit too. Just the money.
Yeah, that's
line.
all I've got here. Is just the money line.
Yeah.
I think if you want to get what is 2-0 Rublev if you want to get frisky.
Mm.
No thanks if it's approaching. If it was like plus 270, I'd probably do it. Like it's pretty close to where I where I would actually want it, but no thanks.
Yeah, I guess there's a pretty significant mental gap here. No?
I think there's a mental gap. I don't know if it's like, I think there's a small mental gap.
Yeah. All right. Last match in Bastad is Korea against Cerundolo. Korea is a plus 4.5 game dog. Plus 290 on the money line. Cerundolo is minus 375. Over unders 21.5.
I don't have a play here. I think this is a pretty well set line.
Let's Cerundolo 2-0. Ew.
Yeah.
Ew. Yeah, everything is well set here.
Yeah.
I'd probably lean Cerundolo minus 4.5.
I hear you on that. If I had to play this, that's how I would play this. But I think this is, I'm not interested in this playing this. Like Korea's like, I don't know. Korea's tough enough where Cerundolo's a little bit off. It gets really hard to cover that 4.5, right? And we've seen Cerundolo play some really bad sets, like the match against Mackie, you know.
But how the hell is Korea gonna win points? Like when it's gonna be, and every service game for Korea is gonna be a massive adventure.
That's every service game for Corey in his entire life. And most of the service games for Cerundolo are going to be an adventure too, because Corey's a pretty good returner. Like this is just going to be like a brutal match, you know?
But Cerundolo has so much more firepower.
Yeah, his upside is way higher. Like, but 4.5 kind of reflects that, right? 4.5 is a pretty big spread.
True. Yeah, it's probably a stay away. It's very, very well set.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, let's head to Switzerland now in Gstaad. So these are interesting matches. Bergs against Kecmanovic. So Bergs is a 3-game underdog, plus 165 on the money line. Mio is minus 200. Over under is 22. Are you thinking about backing Zizou?
Not at this price. I wanted to back Zizou so badly, and this was one where I was like, because I kind of looked at the match first. I'm like, all right, like, what am I thinking? What is my general feel of the match? I was like, I'm gonna back Zizou. I'm gonna back Zizou. I'm gonna back Zizou.
Yeah.
And I was like plus 165. I think I actually think gun to my head, I have to back Mio here. Like as much as I hate it, like
really,
Zizou's not good, man. Like he's talented, but he's so inconsistent.
Yeah, he is.
And he just lays so many eggs. And like you're betting on a worse player who's liable to lay an egg. Like I just plus 165 is not good enough to get me to do that. Like I was hoping he'd be like somewhere in like the high twos.
No, you're not going to get that on any Mio match. What about Mio over 12.5 at -115?
No, I'm not going. No.
No? This is such a tough match to bet. I don't like betting Mio 2 sets to love. It's easier to win a set is totally juiced. This screams stay away.
I'm going under here. Under 22.
Under 22. Interesting.
Like both these guys are so liable to lay an egg, man.
That's true.
And so it's two parts. Like we hate on Mio on this podcast a lot.
We do.
But he's a better player than Zizou Bergs, man. Like I think he's probably going to cover the 3, but I'd rather the under because I think that like Mio just can sometimes lay eggs too, and if Mio lays an egg, you're still fine.
Well, I know it's different matchups, but like I'd probably back Stricker to beat either of these guys. And Kecmanovic kind of beat down on Stricker.
Stricker also made 45% of first serves. I wouldn't like I'm just like slightly higher on Catch. Like I'm not high on Kecmanovic, I don't think, but I think I'm higher than you are.
Yeah, I mean it's harder to be lower than me.
Yeah, like I don't know. So I think I'm like probably like yeah, I'm
That's interesting though. I don't mind the under here. Might tail you. Kecmanovic to win every set, love one or two at 18-1.
not good enough. But it's I looked at it like if it was like if it was 30 or 40, I would have hit it, to be honest. Like I think it's just like it's so hard to actually do that. You need to have the guy be way better. Like the problem is like and Kecmanovic is too liable to lay an egg, you know?
Yeah. You're right.
Like Zizou could win this in straight sets.
Yeah.
Like I actually wanted to hit the Zizou in straight sets money line. Or the Zizou in straight sets line, but it's just not good enough. Like
I'm staying away. I can't hit these guys. Because I could see this match be competitive and go over too.
I could, but I think there's more. Like these guys have a really wide range of outcomes, both these guys, and so I'm hoping that like one's on one end and one's on the other. Or if not, I'm just hoping it's like a 6-3, 7-6 match or a 6-7-5, 6-3 or a 6-4, 6-4 two close sets and I push, you know, or 2 close sets and I win. Like
right.
There's a few different avenues there.
Okay. All right, next match. Juan Pablo Varillas against Albert Ramos Vinolas. Varillas is a 2.5 game favorite, -180 on the money line. ARV is +150. Over under 22.5. So I have a very clear play here. I'm curious to see if you're gonna agree with me.
I think we're gonna be on similar lines, but I don't think we're gonna agree, but I think we'll be on similar lines.
Okay.
Are you going Varillas over 12.5 at -115?
No.
Ooh. Okay, what are you going?
Varillas -2.5 at -120.
Oh, okay. I'm actually going the 3 set line here at +135.
Interesting.
I just don't think Varillas is that good, man. Like he won, like his big accomplishment this year is making the 4th round of the French, and he won his first 2 matches because the other 2 guys, one guy just doesn't have enough energy to play 3 sets, and so he gassed out in the 3rd and lost from 2-love up. And then the second guy got hurt in the 3rd set, and Varillas came back. And then he beat Hubie on clay, on slow clay, which is like whoop-de-doo. Every match with Hubie on slow clay goes 5 sets. Like I'm just like not. I'm actually not impressed by Varius.
So
And then
my
before that, he was terrible.
so my point about backing Varias here is more about ARV playing a long 3-setter against Sonigo and coming back the next day at age 36 at altitude. That's where I'm going with backing.
But the
Varias.
3 sets, I'm not betting on him. I'm not betting on ARV making it like doing anything in the third set. I just need to play one decent set out of two.
I get it, but I think he might lay an egg. I think it might be
He
like
might just be completely
4.
gassed out like a complete egg. Yeah. Yeah.
It's altitude. He played a 2.5-hour match, and the first round was also 2 hours and 15 minutes, and that was on Tuesday. So he's played back to back.
No, he played Tuesday, then had an off day.
Oh, Tuesday, Thursday. Okay, yeah. But I mean, the Sonigo match was more physical than the Fonini match.
Yeah.
And it's altitude.
I still just don't think Varius is that. I don't think there's that much of a gap between these guys. I think both these guys would love to play 3 sets. Last time they went 3-6-7, 6-6-4, they played.
I actually think ARB has declined. He's been bad this year.
Oh, I agree. I just don't think Varius is that good. Like, I think these guys are actually pretty similar, and that's not saying a lot of positive stuff about Ramos. It's saying more negative stuff about Varius. Like, take out that French Open from Varius, and he's like probably like borderline top 100. Yeah, that 94-63 Trump is all Roland Garros. So take out that Roland Garros run where he was down. He got killed by Shang the first 2 sets, and Shang gassed out. And then he got killed by a Goot for 2 sets, and a Goot got hurt. Like, and like I said, whoop-de-doo, he beat Hubie on clay. Like, I'm not impressed with being Hubie Hurkacz on slow clay.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I think he played well against Bagnus and Verton. I mean, it's not the toughest opposition to say the least.
Yeah, Bagnus and Vertinen. Like,
I
mean,
don't
I'm
think
on a fade Brius. I fade him against Bagnus too. He'll probably cost me again. He'll probably beat Ramos. You're probably right. He'll probably beat Ramos like 4-3 or 4-2. It'll probably be a beatdown.
I don't think Ramos is that far above of Bagnus and Vertinen at this stage. Like, he's better, but not by much.
Yeah, I hear you. And the altitude's not great for him. I hear you.
Yeah. All right, next.
For me, the plus 135 has me enticed. Like, if this was like a plus 120 or a 125, I wouldn't be on it, but the plus 135 for me is enticing enough.
Okay. Yeah. All right, next match. I'm very, very interested to see what you have to say about this one. Pedro Cachin against Wame Munar. Cachin is a slight dog at even money. 1-game dog. Munar is minus 120. Over-under is 22.5.
This is my other play of the day. My other favorite play of the day, Cachin moneyline. He's just better than Munar. Man, we've talked about how Munar's just not that good.
Yeah.
Like, Munar, he does okay on altitude also, but he's not like, he's actually not as good at altitude as you think. Like, I looked up his record on altitude. He's like barely above 500 for his career. He's not like amazing.
But we have Cachin futures. Like, I have a Cachin futures to win the quarter.
That's fine. I'll double down on it. I don't care.
Double down on it.
Yeah, like, I don't care. Like,
I mean, that's where I'm leaning. I actually think Cachin has a slight edge here. Like, I think they should definitely be flip-flopped at the very least.
so the reason why you're seeing that line
It's because of
is
the head-to-head.
the head-to-head is way in favor of Munar.
When was the last time they played?
Last year in Marbella. It's 5-1 Munar. It's 6-0 Munar, but they're all in the Challenger Tour. Why not? You have to go to if you go to the ATP Leaf. No, that's Rivers Richard. It's 6-0 Munar, but they're all in the Challenger Tour. Or wait, Yeah, they're all in qualifiers or Challenger Tour, or futures.
Huh.
There you go. You found it.
Yeah, there we go.
And they're mostly beatdowns.
Yeah, but there was a period in time where Kachin was terrible. Like from the end of last year till Madrid. He was awful.
No. It's more that there's like, but this is the other challenge, Kachin, right? Like, I'm going to debate you on that and go kind of the other way with it and say, like, if you look, beginning of last year, Kachin was outside the top 200 in the world.
Yeah, I remember there was a period where he was absolutely god awful.
Well, no, I'm saying he didn't crack the top 200 in the world, Manny, until clay season of last year. So like all those matches in the head-to-head are when Kachin was outside of the top 200.
Interesting. Okay.
But I'm not even saying there was a period when he just got off. I'm saying like he's a lot better player than he was then. Really, the only time he's been good is from like March of 22 through like the US Open. And then he was awful again until he came back to clay in Madrid. And then since then he's been decent again.
From October through
February was terrible.
February, I think he went on like a Cressy run.
Yeah.
Matches.
Yeah.
A little bit better, but
now he's back and he looks okay again. He was really good in Madrid.
He was.
Beat Tiafo, beat Cerundolo.
I actually think Munar has gotten worse.
I think you like to hate on Munar because I think you like to hate on Munar because he I'm gonna look it up because I just want to get the date right. Munar cracked the top 100 at 21, which isn't that young, but it still is like pretty good. He cracked the top 100 at 21.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's actually in a worse. Now he's outside the top 100 again at 20. What is he? 22 now? 20, 25? He's 26 now. 26.
Yeah, 26.
But so
he hasn't really improved.
Well, that's the point. He was like, remember, he was like the star pupil of Rafa. He was like the first star pupil coming out of Rafa's academy.
Right.
And like, I don't think in his case, like, I don't think there was anywhere for him to improve too.
Yeah, he's just
he's actually
not
very
that good
like
of an athlete.
What?
He's just not that good of an athlete.
I just don't think he's very good at anything. What is Munar good at?
Yeah, he has a solid game, but he has nothing special.
Exactly. Like he literally there's like it's not it's like I don't think it's a matter of like laziness or not working hard. I just think this is his max. Like his peak is like borderline ATP, borderline Challenger Tour, and he just like reached it early because he was a really hard worker.
I agree with that. Yeah, his skill set is very limited. Very, very limited.
And I think it always was limited. Like he got a lot of hype because he came up young out of Rafa's academy, but like I think he was just a hardworking kid who like learned the game really well young. But like that was all there was. So bottom line is I'm taking Kachin on the money line because I don't believe in the head-to-head. So
yeah, me neither.
And I think Kachin is a better. And if it wasn't altitude, this would be a different story. It's be a much harder match to call. But I think at altitude, Kachin's a better player than Munar.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit bigger of a game.
I agree. And then the last match, Hopman against Davidovich. Hopman is a 2.5 game favorite, minus 180 on the money line. Davidovich is plus 150. Over under is 22. My play here is Hopman minus 2.5.
I'm not on this. I actually think this is pretty well set.
Really?
I hear the reasoning. Like Hoffman's just so much more mature as a player than Medjedovic, but like Medjedovic is pretty talented.
Yeah, but the lack of discipline, and then like there was a period in time in that team match where he just went totally away in the beginning of the second set.
I hear you.
If he does that against Hopman, then that's going to be trouble.
I hear you, but like Hopman's like 2.5 is, especially at altitude, like it's not huge, but it is a spread, and I think it's being taken into account. But I get the appeal. Like Hoffman's really good at altitude. If you really think, you might be convincing me here. You know what? I'm gonna back it. I'll tell you.
You're gonna back it? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
like because if we really think, like we were saying before that Hoffman's a top 20 player in clay altitude.
Mm-hmm.
If we think that, then -2.5 is the right play here.
Yeah. Yeah, I also think that this is like the end of Medvedevich. Like he's reached his peak here. He had that good win against Team. I don't think he has 2 dog wins in him.
I just don't think. I just think this is bad. Like I just think he's gonna get. I think he's not as good as Hoffman. Like
yeah,
it's pretty
that's
simple.
probably what it boils down to. But all right, so plays of the day are Rublev money line, Kachin money line, and do you want to add this Hoffman?
Yeah, we can add Hoffman -2.5. He's very good. He's been good in Gstaad.
Nice. So, all right, very good. You want to look at Hopman Cup, or you're staying away?
Nah, we don't need to do. Hopman Cup is such a joke tournament. Like really,
it is. But
I just want to see what the mixed doubles are.
Klaus Fuligard made a good point about Holger Rune. So he said that Holger Rune is a good guy to fade here because, like,
I don't like, but like, why is he playing this?
Probably
like, who cares?
He gets a hefty check.
What's the check?
I don't know.
That's probably the answer. You know what's even worse, dude? This ultimate tennis thing that's going on out in California,
it's terrible.
Which is a complete clown show. Like that is a more toddlers event. It's a true clown show.
It is.
Like it's literally a clown show. Like they're giving the players goofy nicknames. Like
it's so bad. Yeah, I agree. Can you bet on those two? All right, not yet. So Alcaraz is playing Hopman Cup. Is he a guy that you would fade here at Hopman Cup? I posted this on Twitter. Because, like, he's coming off winning Wimbledon. He probably made this commitment a long time ago, and, like, they're trying to rebuild the Hopman Cup, because they haven't had it for a few years. They're doing it in Nice now. I don't know how motivated is he going to be? Like, I feel like Goffin is going to be the one that's motivated.
I don't want that Hopman Cup, man. Like, I'm just not like how why this just screams recipe for anybody to be unmotivated. Like, who is going to be motivated for this event? There's no points, right?
No, there isn't.
Is there any money? Can't be any. There's not any money. There might be there's probably some prize money out there. It's got to be. But yeah, I have no interest in this event. Like,
okay, it was just a thought. Like Alcaraz coming off a Wimbledon, we saw how he played at Davis Cup after the U.S. Open. He didn't play very well.
Oh, I look like I don't think. I mean, you know what? I actually think Goffin plus the games is a good play here. I'm not going to do it, but I think Goffin plus the games at plus money, plus 5.5. Like,
yeah,
man, if you're just coin flipping and like anybody could be unmotivated, 5.5 games is a pretty nice bump. Or 550 money line. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
It does. That was my point. Can you bet Goffin to win a set? Goffin to win a set plus 230. That's probably my play. Yeah, I don't know.
I think I would go win.
I'm surprised Alcaraz is
win
playing.
The match. It's like I feel like if you're going to bet Hopman Cup, you want big plus money. Plus, if you're degenerate enough to win Hopman Cup, at least when you win, you should win something. Like, why would you bet one unit to win like half a unit at Hopman Cup? Like, come on.
All right, that's
that was degenerate gen mode. Like, why even like bother?
Yeah, this was just a thought I had. Like, I was like, why the hell is Alcaraz even playing this? Like, he just won freaking Wimbledon.
I agree with you. Like, I think he's a pure better. Like, I think I would either take Goffin. I would take Goffin in some capacity and just like you're just playing variants. And if nothing else, like regardless of even any kind of tennis take, this is basically an exhibition, right? Like,
Basically.
are these guys really gonna like go ball? Like you've seen like these goofy exhibitions they do all around the world, like these like these exhibitions in like England and South Africa in December and like the India League, like it's completely different. These guys are in like an exhibition mode, man. Like the tennis is just completely different. Like, so
Yeah.
I won't go fan in some capacity because I just think like there's
another reason why I'm talking about Hopman Cup is because I was kind of pissed that I wasn't on Holger Rune. Like I forgot that this event was this week.
I didn't even realize this week either.
I didn't even realize. And I was like, oh shit, I should have bet against Holger Rune. And I think he's been like totally gassed. So
yeah, like I said, I don't know why he like I don't know why like I don't know. I guess the check for him, and I guess probably the check for Alcaraz too, or else he felt like he made a commitment. But yeah, ugh.
Yeah, it's commitment.
I hate this event. This event is so dumb. So do the two singles players that have to play mixed? Is that how this works?
Yeah, I think
that's the only. I mean, this is so sexist. But like the only entertaining part, and it's not entertaining for these players because they're not good enough to make it entertaining. But like the only entertaining part of Hopman Cup is watching like Isner serve it like these women who haven't seen anything close to that serve before.
Yeah,
like, it's truly entertaining to watch like John Isner serve like 140 miles an hour at like this poor woman and watch like how she reacts. It's like,
yeah. I mean, I honestly think mixed doubles has ruined like the United Cup, for example. Like I thought with the ATP Cup, like having the men's doubles as the deciding rubber was actually quite exciting because you would have singles guys playing doubles.
The whole idea of mixed doubles is just silly because like, and this is so bad. It's so like politically incorrect, but it's just the truth. Like, and like everybody knows, like we have UTR, so we can verify this statistically, right? We have UTR. Like the women are like at best, the women are like decent college level players playing against like top professionals.
Backs that up.
That's what I'm saying. UTR back. That's my point. It's like we have a tool we can use to back this up. It's called UTR. Like we know this is the case. So it's just like it's not interesting because you have like two players on the court who are completely overmatched. Whereas like in any other like there's no other sport where we have this like you don't have like the NBA College Cup where like you have like two. It's not we don't have like an NBA event where it's like or a basketball event where it's like two NBA guys and two college guys against like two NBA guys and two college guys because it would be stupid.
Yeah.
It'd be 2-on-2. They would just tell the college guys to like stand in the corner.
Yeah, we're not bashing like women's tennis by any means. Like it's just it doesn't really belong in like professional tennis. You know?
Like, it's just and it's not fun,
it's a fun like gimmick thing, but like I don't know. It's just yeah. All right, well, that does it for this pod. So I'm away this weekend, but we'll be back on I guess Monday night to preview the how many tournaments are next week? We got Hamburg, Atlanta, and
I think there's one. I don't know if there's 2 or 3 next week. There's Hamburg, Atlanta. There might be another. I don't know. I gotta look this up.
Umag, right?
Oh man, really? They put Hamburg and Umag the same week? Umag is so fun. Like it's awesome on the East Coast because like all the matches in Umag are like in the middle of the night because it's so hot there.
Yeah, Hamburg, Atlanta, and Umag.
Yeah.
And then the week after we got DC, Los Cabos, and Kitchbull. And then we got the 2 Masters 1000s, Toronto and Cincinnati. Then we got Winston-Salem and U.S. Open qualifying, and that leads into the U.S. Open. So, I mean, the tennis calendar is just jam-packed. It's just constant. It's one after.
Well, that's the problem. That's why these 2-week Masters are going to suck. It's just going to jam-pack it even more.
Right.
And, like, a lot of these 250s and 500s, like, some of these events are good events.
They are.
And, like, maybe that's the answer. I mean, honestly, that is the answer. They need to get rid of a lot of these 250s and 500s.
Well, they're going to get rid of some of the 250s.
Yeah. They need to, sorry, 500s can stay. Not, like, some of these 250s need to go. Like
Marrakech.
Houston.
Houston, yeah. Houston's bad.
Long Island. Like, what? We don't need 2 tournaments in New York City. That's stupid.
Long Island? What was that one?
There's a Long Island Open.
Oh,
Like,
they moved that to Dallas.
okay, that's
Yeah, they
fine.
used to have that, and then they moved it to Dallas. What else is pretty bad?
Delray Beach.
Delray Beach is quite bad. That's true.
It's just funny because you see the cars on the courts, though. That's the cool thing about Delray Beach. They have the cars on the courts. So, like,
Cordoba. Yeah, the Golden Swing is
the Golden Swing. Like, South America doesn't get enough events. We can keep all the Golden Swing stuff.
Atlanta is pretty bad.
I think Atlanta can stay. You can have like one. You can have one like U.S. Open Series 250.
Yeah, and this year we get the return of the China swing, the Asian swing in Tokyo and Shanghai and Zhuhai.
Which like force the players to play in. Like I think you're like required to play like one of like a 500 or 250 in the Asian swing, in addition to the obviously in addition to the Masters.
Yeah.
Which I don't bring up as being anti-Asian. It's just like because it's after the U.S. Open. A lot of the players are just gacked, but then would rather just go home and call it an off season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that does it. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the.
Hey guys. Thank you to all the new followers. We're up to over 500 followers now.
Absolutely.
So that's exciting times for us. Yeah, we're
exciting times.
Very exciting times. We are. What else? We're up to 500. Had a lot of really good chat. There's a Discord out there if anyone's interested. You'll see it occasionally retweeted, tweeted and retweeted out there by us. But there's a fun Discord. You can follow us there. Watch the pod. Feel free to chatter it up on Twitter. We love the chatter. So I think the chatter is almost as much fun as the pod. So
definitely, and we'll be up on Spotify pretty soon. I'm working out the kinks to get that up there, and Josh Hall is helping us with thumbnails and
we got some cool. Yeah, check out the thumbnails, guys, and a shout out to Josh Hall, aka Woj, for the Woj.
He's our third wheel, and I'm sure we'll be including him more. It's tough with the time difference, but he's a really good addition to our.
Yeah, you'll probably see him more on like weekend previews of major events, I think, because like it's just tough to get him on for these weeknight pods.
It is. All right, guys, have a good night. See ya.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.